Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. And Coach, Tigers, tough loss in overtime to Loyola last Tuesday, but you bounced back with a big win over UMBC on Saturday. And Nick DeMeo, for the second time this year, had 4 goals and 5 assists. CAA Player of the Week again on the year, 16 goals on just 31 shots. Much different than what we've seen from Nick in a shooting percentage over the past few years. What's the difference with him?
He's being more selective. The coaches have done and I've talked about it, the coaches have done a good job working with Nick to really allow the game to come to him a little bit more. I think he's recognizing where he can really maximize his abilities within our offensive structure and system, and maybe doesn't need to carry the load as much as he thought he did, as far as a ball carrier and a dodger, and really letting the game come to him, letting, guys that we want to be our primary dodgers initiate and let the ball spin and let the ball find him in good opportune areas. But he's also very capable, has done a good job handling the ball when we need him to, and being able to, find the open guys and get the assists. He's a very smart lacrosse player. He loves the game. He's just, I think, being very opportunistic this year, and not pressing as much as he has in the past.
I mean, it's not just him, and whatever he's doing is certainly working, because you guys have been in double-digit goals in every game except for the opener against Hopkins, and you put up another 17 spot against UMBC this past Saturday, a team that held you to 4 goals last year, so obviously a big difference in your offense against the Retrievers.
Yeah, it's been a big point of emphasis for us from when we got back in the fall. Understanding our shooting percentage isn't where we want it to be, emphasizing the fundamental pieces of it, as well as the nuances of it, and letting our guys be creative, letting our guys understand, taking some artistic or non-fundamental shots are fine, but we got to work at those. We got to practice those. So letting our guys be the athletes that they are, the skilled players that they are. But again, recognizing when it's the right time and where do we want to put the ball in the cage.
But it's not just the offense, because your defense has also played extremely well. Luke Downs, 8th in the nation in goals allowed per game at 7.97. Second in, or I got it mixed up, second in goals allowed per game at 7.97, and 8th in save percentage. So Luke certainly doing a great job, and the defense in front of him has got a lot to do with that too.
Yeah, Luke's been really solid and steady for us in the net. There's no doubt about that. It's great to see him come into his own this year after a backup role the past couple of years, and being able to find his groove. The defense, where we got a lot of new guys on the close end that are playing for us. A couple new guys at the defensive midfield. So that's an area that coming into the spring, we knew was going to have some growing pains with it, and we still do. We're still not as solid and steady as we want to be, but our guys are starting to come together a little bit more. But they're understanding what we're trying to do. We're playing against some tough competition, but being able to have them grow and have the success that we've had, I think is providing them some confidence in what we're trying to do defensively, and Luke's been obviously very strong for us when things don't go well.
Well, the defense is going to have to be on their P's and Q's this week, because you've got Virginia coming in. First of all, they lose a tough one to your alma mater, Johns Hopkins, last week, 16-14, but they've put up at least 14 goals in every game this year. And as we speak, they're playing now against Robert Morris. They're going to do it again. What do you have to do to slow down this offense of the Cavaliers?
We got to keep playing the way we're capable of. I think part of what we've been talking about with our offensive efficiency, our defensive output. It's a byproduct of everything. With how we're doing at the faceoff X, our what we're paying attention to in our clearing game and our riding game. We're creating some turnovers in the ride. So, for us, it's continuing to do what we're capable of doing, playing to our level, playing to our pace, not get caught up in the fast pace that Virginia really likes to play and tries to push upon their opponents, and they're very, very good at it, and that's how they can pump in 4 or 5 goals in a run. We want to really limit their opportunity to make runs, and string together 3, 4, 5 goals. So that's going to be, obviously a focus for ours, and it's got to be across the board. We can't just rely on it offensively or defensively. We got to be very sound, like I said, at the X. We have to be very sound in the ground ball play, very sound in our decision making, in our clearing game, and get some back in the ride as well. So, to do that and to be able to compete in any game that's going to be important for us.
This is also the end of your non-conference schedule, because after this week you head into CAA play. Obviously, getting a win against the Cavaliers is always a feather in your cap, but heading into conference play would be a huge, huge boost for the confidence of this team.
Yeah, I think our guys are in a good place overall, even though we had a setback against Loyola, a tough overtime loss. Where talking about our shooting efficiency, we were upwards in the, we were 50% at St. Joe's. We were in the 40s before that. We were down to 20% against Loyola. So again, that shows us, when we're not really dialed in as much as we should be and have shown that we can be, how damaging that can be. So, again, I think overall our guys are pretty aware of what we need to do and how we need to do it to be successful, going out there and earning a tough win against Virginia, obviously, be great, but, we're looking to continue to play, obviously, consistent lacrosse and be able to, come off that field, on a high note and be able to keep moving forward.
All right, so the Tigers will play their final non-conference game against the Cavaliers high noon on Saturday at Johnny Unitas Stadium. The game will be on Lacrosse TV. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Tigers Men's Lacrosse Report. And as always, go Tigers.